Welcome to Asian Insider, a podcast series by the Straits Times. I'm your host, Nirmal Ghosh, and this, by the way, is my 100th episode. Mr. Van der Klauw, just how bad is the situation in the camps with the Rohingya, and what does the international community need to understand about this crisis?
At the moment, there are some 1 million Rohingya who live in very congested camps in Bangladesh, in the border zone with Myanmar, in the district of Cox's Bazar. Now, first of all, Rohingya have always been there. As you mentioned, there have been waves of persecution and violence in Rakhine state, Myanmar, against the Rohingya since the late 80s. There was a large influx in the 90s, then there was return. There have always been what's now some 40,000, close to 40,000 have been living in Cox's Bazar district since the early 90s. I also have to tell you another unique feature of this Rohingya refugee population is that they're also stateless. The Rohingya are also the largest stateless population globally because their country of origin does not accept them as their nationals, as the citizens.
Richard, if I could come to you now, and for a slightly broader context, I think it was Tant Mint Oo who wrote once that you can't fix Rakhine if you don't fix Myanmar. So this has to be seen in that context. The country in deep crisis, civil war, over 2,000 civilians killed, over 1 million people internally displaced. Against this background, is there any hope for the Rohingya?
I think for the Rohingya, both in Myanmar and those who fled to Bangladesh, the military coup of 2021 was a terrible situation for them and destroyed their hopes of going home in the future, because you had the architect of their expulsion, the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, General Min Aung Hlaing. He was the one who did the coup. He took power in the country. He's still 2.5 years on in control of the country. And how can you imagine as a Rohingya to go back to a country that is now under the iron grip, and very violent iron grip, of the architect of your expulsion? So I think there's that psychological factor, that political factor as well.